There's a false worship in music. Fortunately, this is a music day today. All right. The General Conference met in November 17 in 1994, putting down all, the points pertaining to the philosophy of the Adventist music. Among those points, there is one that says, never or avoid the mixture of sacred and profane music. Are we still together? Let's avoid that. Coming back to the lesson, we have two contrasting systems, the true worship and the false worship. All right, let me just pause there. Are there any hands or anything you want to say so far? All right. Okay, Mama.
Take for granted that all Adventists are faithful people. This is the word I would use. A faithful woman is used to describe God's people, because sometimes out of this scroll we may get God's people. And they can be faithful according to their knowledge. It is said. That's why in the 144,000, we will be surprised because they will belong to them because they were faithful to God. Thank you.
Okay. William Miller never accepted the Sabbath. But Ellen G. White has this to say: when Jesus comes back again, William Miller is going to be there. All right? Thank you, Mama. Thank you for that. Shall we go forward to the wine of the rock? Oh, sorry, Mfundisi. Sorry, I haven't seen you.
I think she raised a very important question. Do we take it for granted that all Seventh-day Adventists remain faithful and true to the faith we hold? I think that was, if I heard you correctly,
yes,
that's the question she raised. Perhaps to address the question, we need to mention one or two things. Number one, let's not lose sight of the fact that you have these two powers which are at war. And I think Revelation 12, which we have gone through, comes very clear on that. On one side, you have truth. On the other side, we have error. We have our God on one side and the enemy on the other side. These have been continuing firing. And let's remember also that this war is fought in our lives. Somewhere Ellen White says the Christian life is a battle and a march. And I think the lesson has been trying to come close to the fact that we need to commit to God, give our lives fully to God. But to answer your question directly, I think one thing we need to understand is that at the end of the day, salvation is individually applied.
You know what Mfundisi once said? We are not going to be saved in groups. We are going to be saved individually. Salvation is an individual business. Thank you. All right. After that, it's going to be Utatuchelo, and then we move.
Yeah, I think there's another comment that she made, Mama Beng, that says there will be people. I think you attested to that as well.
Yeah.
That there will be people from other churches, denomination that will be saved. I think that is true. They will be saved, but if they reject the truth, which is the Sabbath truth, unfortunately, those people that don't know will be saved. I think we need to make it clear. But the people that reject it and say they are fine there where they are, unfortunately, they've rejected the law of God. I think we need to make that clear. And even our mission then will be much more serious because we know that Satan is preparing that those people that are there reject the truth. And then if they reject it, then it's over.
Thank you. We will go to Tatuchelo, but whilst she's ready, you know, at work, I had a colleague of mine, Upuchawe. He once said to me, hey, you know, Mr. X, this Sabbath of yours. And I said, no, it is not my Sabbath. Can you read your Bible? Your Bible. And he read it from Exodus chapter 8, verse 11, going down. And it said, for the Lord, your God, is the Lord of the Sabbath. And I asked him, what does it say? It says, for the Lord, your God. Whose God? Your God. So stop it, Buddhi. The Sabbath is not for the Adventists. It does not come from the Adventists. It came from God, your God. Thank you.
Ikakhulu sindiqinisa kweligama lingu abantu abayinqobo.
All right, I want to talk on the word a peculiar people.
Phandle apha bathi siyafana nabo.
Yeah, outside they are saying, no, by the way, we are the same.
And ke kukho iimpawu ezibonakalayo apha kuthi ezifana nabo.
And there are signs among us that are just the same as theirs.
Yeah, so ke singaziqhayisi kakhulu ngobunqobo.
We should not be boastful being a peculiar people.
Sicela uThixo asijike.
Let us ask God to transform us.
Ngoba ke izinto bazibonayo ukuthi zifana nabo uThixo asisusele zona.
Because what they see in us as the same things that they are doing, let us ask God to remove all those bad habits from us.
Linene lona elokuba baninzi kakhulu pha ezicaweni abantu abazawusindiswa.
It is true that in other denominations, we have God's people.
Yeah, yes, kodwa ke uThixo phambi koba bangene sezulwini bazaqala bagcina isabatha kuqala apha endleleni.
God will give them an opportunity to keep the Sabbath before we go to heaven.
So masisijonge ke singaqhayisi ngobunqobo apha.
Let us look on those things. Come, my brother. After that, it will be Brother Matika, and then we move. Okay.
Yes, just to add to your statement that you referred to when you were telling the friend of yours about your God, I think we could need to also add there where when we were out distributing the other day, when we were on the topic of the Sabbath, it was that Sabbath was made for the Jews. But then we referred to Mark 2:27 that says the Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. So, yeah, definitely to mention that as well when countering that.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother. Okay, can I hand over to Brother Matika? Here he is. All right. And then we will move to the wine of the wrath.
Thank you for the opportunity. I think the lesson is trying to bring a clear distinction between two systems.
Yes.
And I'm worried that we are trying to make those lines a little bit blurry. The lesson is clear. There are two systems. There's a Babylonian system and there's a pure system. There might be issues in both systems. There might be those who have got issues who are faithful, and there might be those who are not faithful in both systems. But the systems, there are two. And we shouldn't try to feel guilty that because I'm in this pure system, then I need to sort of merge it and try to be politically correct. My challenge is that over time, as Adventists, because we want to be politically correct, we have tried by all means to neutralize ourselves. And I understand it's because maybe we feel that we don't meet the standard of the systems where we belong. As a result, we feel that maybe we should try to neutralize ourselves on how we do things. But this church, I mean, from its inception, it has been clear that we identify ourselves as a remnant. And we keep the truth. We always strive by all means to keep the truth. Otherwise, if that line is not clear, then we are like any other church. You know, if you are saying you are a remnant, then not because Matika cannot reach the standard of the system, it doesn't make the system like Babylon. I don't know whether it makes sense. Yeah, so sometimes let's not, because we fail in meeting God's standard in the system, and then we start to dilute it and want to be like others so that we can be politically correct.
Thank you.
I just wanted to engage on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my elder. You know what? I grew up in this church. Coming to the doctrine of Sabbath, it was taken so seriously. If you work until the sun sets on Friday, you won't be nominated in this church. If you are working on Sabbath, you won't be nominated here. No questions, nothing. You won't be said, you won't. And many of us, more especially the elderly people, know what I am talking about. And exactly. 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 Sure. Sure. Thank you. Let's come to the wine of the wrath. We have two wines here. Two wines. It's, yes, you are correct. We've got two wines here. The wine, the new wine of the gospel, right? And the Babylonian wine. We've got two wines. Contrasting systems. Two. Right? Okay. That's the first one. Let me start with Satan. Satan, the father of lies, counterfeits truth. he attempts to deceive us. Through religious deceit, he desires to capture the minds of countless millions, right? Remember where he comes from. He was in charge of thousands and millions of angels, and he came down, all right? Number 2, let me read a statement from our book, The Great Controversy, pages 518 and 519, and I quote, Satan is in attendance when men assemble for worship. Though hidden from sight, he is working with all diligence to control the minds of the worshippers. Unquote. All right. The fallen church system. God said to the angel, go and announce that this gospel will be proclaimed to every nation, to every tribe, to every tongue and people. And Satan had his gospel again. He said to his angels, go and preach this false doctrine to all the people, to all the nations, to all tribes and tongues. And so he employs every possible deception to captivate the minds of the inhabitants of the earth. All right? Now, somewhere in the lesson, there's a sentence that goes on to say, the fallen church looks to the political leaders of the earth for power and authority. On the other hand, look upon Jesus. Sinless is he. All right? Number 2, it seeks the state to enforce its decrees. It is no longer a decree is going to be issued. We know that. A decree, according to Revelation chapter 13, is going to be issued. And it's going to be clear, Brother Matika. It's going to be clear. You choose to worship on Saturday, or you choose to worship on Sunday. Is that not clear? This is clear. Right? And then, for those who choose to worship on a Saturday, your bank account is going to be freezed. Right? You will not be able to buy. You will not be able to sell. This is clear. And those who worship on Sunday, nothing is going to be done to them. That is clear. You can buy anything you want to. You can sell anything you want to. That is clear. All right? And the symbolism of pure juice, right, of the grape is used through the New Testament to represent the untainted, pure blood of Christ poured out for our salvation on the cross. A music writer by the name of E.A. Hoffman, some gentlemen will know the song. Oh, blood of Christ so precious, poured out on Calvary. I feel its cleansing power, and that's enough for me. All right. Sorry.
Well, thank you.
Elder Nima?
Yeah, thank you. I'm just looking at the time I'm living.
Yes.
What is it that we are worshiping? Because, man, we seem to be having a medium of exchange that we are literally worshiping. That is money. Yeah, we do that because it's sugar-coated by nice terms to the fact that it's a way of living. We sugarcoat it by saying, no, money will bring happiness. We are in pursuit of happiness, which obviously means that we are in danger even before that time will come, whereby you say you cannot buy or sell. But man, we are dependent so much on money. We are idolizing money. We are divinizing money. And this is our downfall. And all along, when I read this lesson, it was saying to me, it was talking about graven images of that era. You know, stone, you know, images of stone and wood. But we don't have those. But we only have one thing, which Christ mentions to the fact that mammon is really something that's based on the financial transactions of today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, unfortunately, I have to close. But before I close, the center of idolatry comes from Babylon, the big city. There were more than 300 gods. 300 gods. A G in small letter. But out of that 300, the first three were chief gods. God Marduk, he was looking over justice and compassion. God Bel, it was the Lord, right? And the third one was God Enki. Enki, a god. He was a god of creation. He was the one who created the earth and the heavens. A god with a small g. And there were also gods of writings and scribes. Nabu, God Negal, over 300 gods in Babylon. This morning, God is calling us. He has a call of commitment that let us commit ourselves to Him and Him alone. Let us be mindful of the fact that the